Welcome back, my dear students. Today we are on to the last session of the chapter Effects of Electric Current. In the last class we had discussed about electromagnetic induction, and in this class the application of electromagnetic induction, that is working of electric generator. Now electric generator, as soon as you write the topic, if it is asked in the question, you have to first define what is an electric generator. Electric generators are of two types. One is the AC generator and other is the DC generator. What is an AC generator? First of all, generator. Something is generated. So here, electric current, a device that produces electric current from mechanical energy, is called as generator. If the device is making electric current in the form of AC current, if the device is producing electric current in the form of alternating current, that is the direction changes after every half rotation, then the current is called as AC current, or the device is called as AC generator. So what is an AC generator? A device which converts mechanical energy into electrical energy in the form of alternating current is called AC generator. What is it? A device, keywords I'll write, a device which converts mechanical energy in the form of electrical energy, and that electrical energy is in the form of AC current. A device which converts mechanical energy into electrical energy and the electrical energy is in the form of AC current. Alternating current is called as AC generator. Similarly, you will write for DC generator. A device which converts mechanical energy into electrical energy and the current is in the form of direct current is called as DC generator. Okay? Distinguish between also can come. So here generator, electric generator is a device that as soon as you begin introduction you will write like this. Second thing what you will write is about the principle, the most important principle. In electric motor also we learned the principle. Here what is the principle of electric generator? Electric generator works on the principle of electromagnetic induction. Okay, like that you have to write. Electric generator works on the principle of electromagnetic induction. What is electromagnetic induction? Hope you all know it. If you don't know, please refer to the previous class video. You will understand it better. Electromagnetic induction in simple way is that electric current is induced in a current carrying coil when the coil moves or the magnet moves, when there is change in the magnetic field. In most of the case, we keep the magnet stationary and we make the coil move. Same thing we are going to do in electric generator working also. Okay, so let us learn it. Let's first check out the construction of an electric generator. It is somewhat same like an electric motor. Okay, so we have an armature coil. Armature coil, what is armature coil? Armature coil is a conducting wire in the shape of a rectangle. Okay, the shape of a rectangle, more number of turns, more will be the magnetism produced. So here we have the end of the armature coil this way. Two ends I'll show. Rectangular coil, okay, made up of conducting wire. So this will name it as ABCD, like we did it in the previous, that is electric motor, ABCD. Now one most important change which differentiates AC generator and DC generator. First, here we will talk about AC generator. Okay, this is AC generator, AC electric generator. On to the armature coil, and the most important part, that is it is kept between two pole pieces of a magnet, north pole and south pole. Coil is placed between two poles of a magnet. Now, strong electric field is created. Now, if I keep the coil this way, nothing will be induced, no electric current will be induced. I have to bring few more attachments. So, what is this? Armature coil, and this is strong magnets. Now, as you can see, to one end of the armature coil, I will attach a ring the complete ring. In electric motor, we had learnt about split ring. One ring we split into two halves. Here we are using one full ring for one end of the armature coil. Same way, one more ring, one more end of the armature coil. These are slip rings. These are slip rings, not slit rings. Most important part of the topic is the slip rings. They are slip rings. Okay. Now to the slip rings we have the carbon brushes which are conducting. Through these carbon brushes the electric current will flow in the external circuit. Okay. So they are heavily conducting brushes. Now in between here I am explaining it as per the construction. Okay. In the diagram you can refer to the diagram given in the textbook. Here I have shown the slip rings, highlighted it, zoomed it and showed it to you because slip rings are the one that will make us understand the working well. So these are the rings. I'll name it as R1 and this ring I'll name it as R2. This brush B1 and this brush B2. Always remember, the ring which is connected to arm AB is ring 1, R1. Ring connected to CD is ring 2, R2. To R2 we have brush B2 and to R1 we have brush B1. Now why are we using these slip rings? First thing is that so that the coil does not get entangled. Otherwise it will get tangled. No, this wire, when it rotates, the wires will get tangled. So the connection will be lost. So to avoid that we are using slip rings so that when the coil moves, the slip rings also will move with that and it will avoid the entanglement or confusion in the movement of the coil. Now to the coil we have kept a brush. Now these are the two rings and to brush B1 we have the outer circuit. Again a conducting wire from here, a conducting wire from here. That label part I will use it now here. And what will you connect here? What will you connect in the space available? Do you need a cell here? No. We are going to produce electric current. We will get electric current from this. No. From this device we get electric current. Electrical energy is produced. So to check whether electrical energy is produced or not, what we need? We need a device called as galvanometer. Galvanometer. So that the galvanometer deflects and we can understand that electric current is flowing through the circuit. So for that we need the galvanometer to check the presence of electric current, or here it is induced current. Okay. In some textbooks you will see here bulb. So if the bulb is kept, if the bulb glows, means electric current is passing through the circuit. That way also is correct. Okay. So this is the setup. Now here in between we have an axle. Okay. We have an axle here. Can be shown this way. An axle. We need the coil to move, no? So what all are the setup here? Armature coil, rectangular shaped armature coil, two magnet pole pieces for strong magnetic field, two slip rings. What is the speciality of the slip ring? The slip ring R1 will be connected to AB only. It will be connected to AB only, permanent. Same way, CD will be connected, the arm CD will be connected to ring R2, permanent. Okay, that thing you have to remember. When AB moves, that ring A1 will also move. If this AB moves, no, ring 1 will also move with that. Ring 1 will also move with that. If CD moves, ring R2 will also move with that. Understanding? So this is the setup. Now, as soon as we move this coil, until and unless you move the coil, there will be no induced current. If you keep this setup undisturbed, no current will be induced. So we have to move the coil. Now to move the coil, either we can use turbines. Turbines move on the effect of water. If you put water from a greater height, the turbine starts moving. Same way, through wind, it will start moving, or through steam also the turbine can move. So here, to demonstrate it, we will rotate it with our hand. Okay, with the axle is rotated. When the axle is rotated, Now this axial rotation angle or the direction also is important. If the axle is rotated in clockwise direction, that is this way, okay, so rotation is happening this way, so we will rotate it. So when this will rotate, arm AB will move in the upward direction and CD will come in the downward direction. Arm AB is going up and CD is coming down. So let us apply Fleming's right hand rule on this armature coil arms AB and CD. So according to Fleming's right hand rule, right hand, okay, so we need our thumb, index finger and middle finger mutually perpendicular to each other. This way perpendicular, this way perpendicular, okay, mutually perpendicular to each other. Now let us suppose on arm AB, AB is moving in the upward direction. So this thumb is correct, okay. AB is moving in the upward direction. Motion of the conductor is in the upward direction. Magnetic field is from north to south. Here all magnetic field. This is all magnetic field. And it is changing magnetic field. Why? Because the coil is moving. When the coil is moving, there is a change in the magnetic field. And then only current will be induced. We will find out in which direction current is induced. Right hand, Fleming's rule. So this is the motion of the conductor, okay, moving upward. This is the direction of the magnetic field from north to south. So what can you see? Where is the middle finger? The middle finger is pointing in this way. That means the direction of electric current, this way, no? So the direction of electric current is in the upward direction. From AB it will go, pass. Now let us apply the same thing here on arm CD. On arm CD, the arm CD is coming downwards. So if you apply Fleming's right hand rule, this downwards means downward, this way. Okay. So now your fingers, just to see your fingers this way, no? This way, this way. So motion of the conductor, coil in downward direction, magnetic field is from north to south. So the current is pointed outwards. So it is coming in the downward direction. From this way it is going in the upward direction and from CD it is coming in the downward direction. Now the most important thing, now from AB I have shown you the direction of electric current. This is the motion of the coil. Through arrow I have shown the motion of the coil. So the current is moving from AB, then it will come to CD. From CD it will travel through the end of the coil. It will reach ring. It will reach ring R2. From R2 it will reach B2. So let me write from AB the current will flow through BC. Then from BC it will come to CD. From CD it will come through, remaining I will show here. From CD it will come to R2. From R2 it will go to B2. And then from B2 it will go to B1. Correct, no? And then it will go to R1 and then to coil AB. This is the direction of electric current in the first half of the rotation. Okay, from AB, then to BC and then to CD, then to ring 2, brush 2, then brush 1, ring 1 and then to AB. This way is the direction of induced current in the outer circuit. It is in this direction. Inside it is from AB, CD. In the outer circuit it is flowing from R2, then B2, then B1 and R1. Remember this much. Now after half a rotation, what will happen is AB's place will be taken by CD. Okay, so we will change the names. So here I will write CD and here we have AB. Here we have AB. After half a rotation, this will be the C. Now, the motion is always the same. Clockwise direction only. The axle is moved in the clockwise direction. So, the motion inside will be DCBA. For DC, the current will be in the upward direction. Okay. Now, when the coil moves, what I told you in the beginning, the rings attached to the coil will also move. So, what is happening here is, to the end CD, now it is not R1, Who will come along with CD? R2 ring will reach here, and with AB, R1 ring will reach for AB. For AB it will always be ring R1, for CD it will always be ring R2. Now what I told you, along with the arms, along with AB and CD, the rings and the attachment, that is the brushes, will also move. AB is always attached to ring 1. So along with AB, ring 1, and brush will also be B1. Along with R2, the brush will be B2. Okay. The rings will also move along with the ends of the coil. That is the characteristic of slip rings. For slit rings, only the external coil will move. The slit rings will remain in one place only. The slit rings will remain in one position, whereas the slip rings will move along with the ends of the coil. That is why when you use slip rings, you will see that in the first rotation, in the first half, it was through ABCD and from B2 to B1, from B2 to B1. Now here what is happening is, it is in the direction of DCBA. The current will be induced in the direction of DCBA, and from BA it will come to R1, then B1, okay, and then B2. That is, here it is from B1 to B2, and after B2 again to R2. Understood? In the first rotation it was in the direction of ABCD, and the direction of induced current was from B2 to B1. After half a rotation, it is from B1 to B2. As you can see, from B1 to B2 the current will be induced. So in this way, the direction of current is alternating or changing after every half rotation. So this is the construction of AC generator. Now if you want to explain DC generator, what small change you will make here? You will draw the diagram same like the motor, that is two halves. So this both will come here and you are connecting a axle. So in DC generator we use split rings instead of slip rings. Okay, because of the split rings the coil will move, but the external circuit is always connected in one direction. So the current will also be induced in one direction. In alternating, the current will change its direction because of the slip rings attached. Understood? Once again, let us do a quick recap. As you move the armature coil, as you move it in clockwise direction, arm AB will go up. Okay, so according to Fleming's right hand rule, this is the direction. The induced current is in the inward direction, inside direction. Okay, this way. It will go in the inside direction. Inside means this way. No, the arrows, look at the middle finger, inward, and the direction of current will be from ABCD. Okay, so in the first rotation, direction of electric current ABCD. From CD it will come to R2, then to B2, from B2 to B1, and then to R1. This is the direction of electric current in the first rotation. What you have to remember when you write the answer? ABCD from B2 to B1. This is the most important part. From B2 to B1, induced current in the first half rotation. From B2 to B1. Now, let us change the scene. After half a rotation, what will happen is, CD will come here and AB will go there. So, here CD and here AB. Okay. Now, if you change the upper part of the coil, you have to change the lower part also. AB will be attached to R1. Same way brush B1. Okay. CD will be attached to R2 and brush B2. Now the direction of current will be in the same. No, that is here in this case after half rotation it will be in the DCBA direction. DCBA direction. Now from DCBA it will first go to ring 1, then to B1. So B1, then to B2. From B1 to B2. First half it was from B2 to B1. After half a rotation it is from B1 to B2. It is because of the slip rings. And when the current is induced, what you will see? You will see a deflection on the galvanometer, which shows the indication that electric current is induced in the circuit. Okay, this way electric current is produced by using mechanical energy. Okay, here we moved the axle with our hand, but in reality, in industries, how does an electric generator works? Either by using turbines which works on steam, water or wind energy. Okay, and what is a DC generator? In place of slip rings, you will use slit rings. Same diagram of electric motor. You will use slit rings. And because of the slit rings, the direction of current in the external circuit will remain the same. Because the slip rings will not move along with the ends of the coil. It will remain there only. So the direction of electric current inside, that is, inside it will change, but on the outer circuit, the direction of electric current will remain the same. I hope you have understood both AC generator as well as DC generator. With this, we have completed our chapter. I hope everything was clear to you. Go study in detail, understand the concept, and wish you all the best for this chapter. Okay, thank you students. Bye.